Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Missy, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that I think a lot of us want to know the answer to and have questions about, and that's why we are so attracted to toxic people, the F-boy, the F-girl, the narcissist, sociopath, the alcoholic, the drug addict, the person that we feel like we need to fix, the person that neglects us. But before we get started, if you are new here, welcome. My name is Missy. I am a life and relationship coach. And if you like getting to the root of your issue and you like learning how to heal and deal, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to be a part of the fam. And as always, if you already are a subscriber, I appreciate you so much. Let's get into today's video. So to start it off, our very first example of how a relationship should be is through our parents. So if you had emotionally unavailable parents, you had a codependent parent that only paid attention to the narcissistic parent and pushed you to the side, if you had an alcoholic parent that completely neglected you, that chose alcohol over you or drugs over you, you had a narcissistic parent that gaslit you and devalued you and confused you about what reality is. Or even if you felt like you had really loving parents but they worked a lot and didn't spend a lot of time with you. All these are examples of trauma. Trauma could be intentional or it could not be intentional. The thing we have to understand about trauma is two people could go through the same exact thing and one will be traumatized and the other won't. The reason why this is because of the way our brain processes it and also our perception of it. As a child, your perception can be affected very easily, especially when your needs are not being met. The reason that this is because we are helpless and we depend on our parents for our needs. And the other reason this is because we cannot reason until the age we are 8 or 9. When it comes to our perception, we cannot see things outside of ourselves and realize that there's another reason for why it happened. We cannot see that things that have happened are because of outside reasons or influence. So when a need is not being met, we will internalize it, turn it inwards, and then believe that it is our fault. We will form a belief that we are not enough, or we are unlovable. So when your parents don't pay attention to you, you may think, oh, it's my fault why they don't want to pay attention to me. I'm not a good enough kid. Or if your parents don't show up to your sports game, it's because you're not a good enough player. You're not valuable enough. You're not important enough, or your parent won't love you because of you. Our brains try to find meaning of why things happen. So in a poor innocent child's mind, they try to find the meaning of, well, why did my parent not give me my need? And they turn it inwards. They're like, oh, I'm the problem. This is just your child perception. So you'll form these beliefs about yourself. Now let's take it another step further. If you had a narcissistic parent or an abusive parent, an alcoholic parent, whatever it is, a bipolar parent, you had to give up parts of yourself in order to form a bond with them or to get your needs met in any way possible. Even if it's the slightest thing, you'll take anything. Otherwise, if you don't give up parts of yourself or what you actually need, your narcissistic will make you feel bad for having a need. They may withdraw. They may severely punish you. You see that it causes a negative effect. So then it trains in your brain when you ask something of your narcissistic parent, it makes them mad or you get rejected. So because of this, there is something wrong with me. I'm the problem. You then abandon yourself and try to learn what your narcissistic parent needs in order to feel loved. It is now ingrained in your brain that love means giving, taking everything away from yourself and giving to your narcissistic parent, ridding yourself of your needs. Love means mistreatment. Love means constant highs and lows. Love means neglect. This meaning of love will feel like home. So have you ever met someone where you feel like the chemistry was amazing, the planets aligned, and when you hugged them, it felt like home? But they were a big jerk or they were really mean. It's because it was a lie. Your brain was abused to believe that this is love. So when you form these beliefs that you are unworthy, you are unlovable, mistreatment equals love, mistreatment equals neglect, that is exactly what you will look for in your relationships. Someone who makes you feel that way, worthless, unlovable, neglected. This is known as repetition compulsion. Oftentimes, a lot of us will think that when we deal with trauma as a child, we'll just grow out of it. It'll just be done with. Like, it happened years ago. It's done. No. Your brain doesn't work like that. It wants to be comfortable. It wants things to be resolved. So it will try to create a resolution for you. What it will do is it will cause you to be attracted to the things that you were traumatized by, or the people that you were traumatized by, to try to resolve it. Your brain is using the present moment to help you. Your brain thinks this is an opportunity to have a different result, to resolve this issue that's never been resolved. Your beliefs will not change. You will not be attracted to anything else until it feels like it has some sort of resolution. So when you are dating, you could come across as what seems to be like the perfect man or woman, so nice, generous, attractive, looks good on paper, all the things, but you will feel like there's no chemistry. They will be boring to you. Being treated right is unfamiliar. It's uncomfortable. You just see that as not what you're looking for, because you're not looking for it. But because you have such strong beliefs that love is mistreatment, love is neglect, when you see someone that is a jerk, is a narcissist, someone that reminds you of your parents' love, it will be like fireworks. It's like the love you've been seeking for so long. So when it comes to our beliefs, our brains don't look for anything outside of our beliefs. We have confirmation bias. We believe things that will validate our beliefs. Even if there's logical things that can counteract that, doesn't matter. Logic doesn't matter when we have really strong beliefs. So if you believe you are unworthy, it doesn't matter how many times your friends have been like, girl, stop dating these men, like they're so tough. It doesn't matter. You believe that you are unworthy, or you believe that love is mistreatment. Nothing can change that. Even though you're like, I know, girl, I know. Or like men, your boys are like, come on, man, like she is toxic, she's crazy, like why do you keep going after her? And you're like, I don't know, there's something about her. No, it's just because you have that strong belief. This all has to do with your beliefs on what you believe you're worth and what you believe love is. So it's deep in your subconscious wiring, but don't worry. It doesn't mean that you are screwed. It just means you got work to do. So now that we understand it on a logical level, we have clarity of why you are the way you are, why you are attracted to these people. We now have to change the wiring in your brain. You have to change the way that your brain views love, what love means, and what your beliefs are about yourself, which love, that's a whole separate video I'm going to make in the near future. But when it comes to your beliefs about yourself, it's really important that when you notice that these beliefs are coming up, you notice your narcissistic parent's voice is coming up in your head, because it's not your voice, it's not your belief, that's your narcissistic parent. Or you notice that you're operating from your inner child belief is coming up about when your parents didn't come see your baseball game because they didn't love you. Well, you're not going to be saying that at the time, but you're going to think, oh, this person didn't do this thing because they don't love me. That's what it's going to sound like now. But when you hear all of these things, that's when it's important to be like, wait a minute, girl, I'm preaching about love right now. I'm preaching about self-worth. We're not about this barking right now. Unless you're agreeing with me and you're like, hallelujah, then you can do that. Anyway, as I was saying, it's important that when you hear those things, you say, wait a minute, that's not my voice. This was a belief that was formed because of my parents, or because as an innocent child, I was just trying to create meaning of why something happened. And then once you disassociate, then you, yourself, your higher self comes in, come for that inner child and reiterate the positive or the opposite. I am worth something good. I am worth a happy, loving relationship. When you reiterate those things over and over again, you change the neural pathways in your mind. And it takes repetition and emotion. It doesn't just happen because you do it once. It doesn't happen because you're doing it just to get it over with. No, you need to feel it as you say it, as I always talk about. So when you're saying you're worth these things, you need to imagine being in this loving relationship, or imagine what it feels like to feel lovable, even though you are, but you don't know what that feels like right now. Just imagining all these things and visualizing them and then creating it as your reality. You always need to just be aware of the story that's playing in your head and reframing it, recorrecting it over and over again, because these subconscious beliefs are deep in there. They're not things that you think about on a daily basis, but you definitely have thoughts that create that reality, that create that action to reaffirm those beliefs. So you have to constantly do things to break that pattern, to change those ways. So when you recognize unhealthy negative behavior, call it out. This is unhealthy negative behavior. I know that I'm going to gear towards this because this is what's familiar and this is comfort and this is what I think is love, but I'm going to make a decision to not even head in that direction. It's all about being aware and making changes and changing your beliefs. So what do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. Who's knocking? You really don't like love, huh? You like your mama. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, now's not the time. Now I don't remember what I was talking about. Because you had a conniption, but you are the best baby. You're a potato chip. Does anyone else's dog smell like a potato chip, or am I just dirty and I have a dirty dog, even though she got a bath a few days ago? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Missy, and what comes after that?